Ah, one person. I was about to see if this still works. Say hello. Does it still work? Can you still say hello? How do you... just bear with me, Dottie. I might restart this in a minute, but yeah, okay. Toth, Amanda. All right, you're gonna watch me, Amanda. Okay. Well, it's one person. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, Michelle. Okay, two people. All right, I'm going to start this. It's been a long time since I've been on camera. G'day, Rex. And it's part rant again. I was watching some of my old videos and just seeing how fired up I was compared to, say, when I was doing the law, where it was pretty much subdued. So I guess what I would admit is that in some ways, and here's to you, Cindy Niles, if you get to see this, I'll acknowledge that it was pretty tedious to watch at times, some of that stuff, which is really just reporting on the law. Here I'm not going to be reporting on the law, I'm going to be reporting to me on what the fuck has been going on with what we would still call the movement. But before I do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself and how I lost my way, and I guess others could maybe relate to this, because I'd forgotten the reason why I got on the camera in the first place, and that was because no one was saying what needed to be said, and I don't know that that's really changed. I got sent a video today by Aisha, who showed me back in 2020 March that she was warning people about what was going to happen, and we know obviously what's happened since then. But there were so few voices coming together to say what was going on from their perspective. From my view, having gone back and watched some of my own videos, I can see that there is this widespread corruption in the movement to this day, which is just amazing. It's been. I was talking to Rise Up Melbourne, who's Ed, about this a little bit today. I mean, he thinks everyone's a shill, and I think he's correct. I was talking about the fact that the Millions Rise group was apparently, a funded group where they were funding the narrative of the message that was going out, and at the time there was some confusion over when the protest dates, and I apologise for this being very Melbourne centric, Victoria centric, but it sort of goes like Victoria and Melbourne has been the heart of where all the damage and all that push was done, and so I guess all the rest of the country sort of followed suit. So I don't think I'm just talking about Melbourne when I'm talking about these issues. Anyway, so Ed was saying, it's like a circle, right? It's a circle. You've got Reignite Democracy, and then the UAP and Craig Kelly and whatever the fuck happened with all that shit. And essentially, he was saying, and I guess this is my interpretation, that what we have in this movement is self-anointed scavengers, and I don't know if Topher Field is another one of those. I'm guessing he is. I mean, he's sort of profited off the misery of others, to put a McKenna-ism onto it, and this is where I'm going to go with this, right? Because this is talking also about people like Avi, I don't know. Like in all my time, getting on the camera, which has now been, I guess, 2.5 years worth, attending rallies, groups, law meetings, speaking at rallies and organising, I've had so few conversations, and in the spirit of, say, Ed Gilbert, who talks about this, I've had so few conversations with anyone who's got any fucking idea how to put a movement together, what some of the ideas that would, that at least, maybe they don't achieve anything, except they make us come together as a group and actually try to achieve something. I was critical of some of the people who were protesting in Melbourne, and this goes for, you know, Tricky and all those people up in northern states, and some of the other people who are protesting. But as I've said, if there is no risk, there's no reward. So I had a crack at a few people, including, well, not so much, but including Anthony Burge, who I almost love him like a son, because he was there, you know, he was there in those early days, and didn't show much fear. And I was just saying, you know, if you go out and protest and the police don't give a fuck what you're doing, then clearly you're not, like, it needs to be on the verge of breaking the law. And I'm not saying go out and break the law, but I'm saying that if you're going out there and no one gives a shit what you're doing, then you are not flying over the mark. And back in the very early days when the Vic Market protest was on and the September 5 protest was on, that, you know, got Thanos fame, we were over the mark, right? The executive branch of the government responded very quickly and said, you know what, we got to take these fuckers out. People like myself, and James Bartolo, and even Zoe from Ballarat. These names are going back a while, but this was the point. These people were, like, the executive branch feared that it would be contagious, right? Because if you get people in the street and that's shown to be okay, then you would have had a lot more people doing it when it was known that you were breaking the law. And I talk about, you know, statute or whatever. It's not really law. Anyway, going back to this point. So we're not over the mark at all, and I don't really understand that. Like, is it that do we need to have no food on the table? Is that what we need? Where there's no food on the table and now I'm ready to go and hit the street, or now I'm ready to think about what could actually affect change and change how this country operates. So going back, because I've just got a few notes, because I'm not very, it's taken me, 2.5 years. I've sort of lost the how this works. So in my time in the movement, I've yet to have I've listed these names, right? I've yet to have a conversation with people like Tricky. I haven't had a conversation with Jamie McIntyre, not with Dave O'Neiggs. Like, maybe, I think Thanos looked at me. Haven't had a conversation with Topher Field. Now, these are not with Pete Evans, not with Morgan or Monica, hardly with Matt Lawson. And this sort of fucking blows my mind. Hello, Ethan. How the fuck are you little bastard? That's my nephew watching. So I haven't had a conversation with any of these people. And from my perspective, I've been someone who has been open to ideas in how to affect change, and yet not one of these motherfuckers, not one, has reached out to have a conversation with me. In fact, they pretty much avoided me. And and then when you call them out, then you get called divisive. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant thing. So my question is, who exactly, is there any leadership at all inside of this movement? People are looking for someone to affect change. And I'd say, if anyone thinks I'm on the right path here, you'll have to share this video, because no one is watching. That's what they've done. That's what they've done. Like, the authorities and Facebook and all the social media tech giants, they know how to divide and conquer. So we're being fucked from, no, Debbie, you can't join the video. That's my mum now watching. I've got my... Anyway, so we've got where we're being screwed by the government, number one. Then we're being screwed by our own people who seem to be scavengers sucking the blood out of people. All you people, right? Go and pay for your DVD or whatever the fuck it is from Topher Field. Go and spend how much money from Mike Palmer and Know Your Rights. It just fucking blows my mind. It blows my mind that this is what we've got. And then we're divided in the social media realm. Why can't you join, Debbie? Because you can't join. I'm ranting. Don't try and join me when I'm ranting. Mother. What I guess I've come to the conclusion is that people like Thanos and Dave O'Neiggs and Jamie McIntyre, Tricky, Pete Evans, Morgan and Monica from RDA, Matt Lawson, these are not your leaders. They're not your leaders. I might be. I don't fucking know. But I tell you what, thank you, and I love you too, Mum. Maybe I'm a leader because I'm willing to ask you people out there, what the fuck do you want to do? Like, we see in Telegram, there's like a 60,000 people sort of cap. It seems like Dave O'Neiggs has alluded to it, and some others have alluded to it. We need to go beyond that. I mean, I've got some other notes here which I'm going to have to get to, because otherwise, right. So we need to put pressure on ourselves, on our movement. Stop. I mean, all these people, for fuck's sake, we're subscribing to RDA. What fucking good have they done? Now, nothing personal against Monica, even though she did her Survivor. That Survivor video really messed with my mind. Is this the kind of person that we want? I remember when she interviewed me, it was like she was on speed or something, but she's not. That's just how she is. And Morgan, who says to me, we're not going to promote anything unless you've got content. I'm like, who the fuck says that? Well, who the fuck says that? Not a leader. I don't say it. If you come to me with an idea, I'll listen. So this is what I'd say, right? The movement needs smart people and driven people. Right now we've got maybe driven and greedy, driven and narcissistic. Maybe we've got that. But if you think that you can contribute, you have an idea, wherever you are, you need to contribute that to someone who'll fucking listen. Not to someone, in this I'm going to call it faux organisations who don't care. Like RDA doesn't care, UAP never cared. Liberal Democrats, they don't fucking care, right? You're going to have to send it to people who might. Ed Gilbert is one, I'll back him. Like I disagree wholeheartedly on the approach that he would take versus what I would take. I think he's too soft, but he's willing to listen. He'll bloody listen. And at the end of the day, he's pretty smart from what I can tell, and he's very driven, and he'll listen. So that's the third attribute. So I think Anthony Burge will listen. I'll listen. I think these are the sorts of people that you need to seek out if you're trying to affect change. And I'm going to come back to some of the people who I have. Who is the only leader who's been